Guys, what is up? It's Lex here, and thank you for coming back to my page. Oh my gosh. So I did get this mic. We're gonna see how the sound is. Okay, we trying to make the setup a little better, slowly but surely. So I did get this mic. We'll see if I like this. I might not like this mic, and if the sound's awful, I'm gonna be very upset. But I do want to give a huge thank you, as always, to all of my new subbies, to anybody who's been commenting on the videos. You guys are awesome. As I said, I cannot believe this channel that I literally started less than 2 weeks ago already has nearly 60 subscribers. I've had literally thousands of views on my videos, which is absolutely insane to me. And I just cannot believe that you guys are here. So thank you so, so much. And if you haven't subscribed, if you're just visiting, I would love and appreciate if you could like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of these little YouTube things to get my little channel up and going. I'm here. This is a passion project, but I would love maybe for it to become more. I would love to be doing this commentary and being in this commentary space. So thank you guys so much for your support. Today we are going to be talking about Love is Blind. This is going to be season 6, episode 8. So please, 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 before we start, please don't put anything in the spoilers. Okay, we are going to do episode 9. I'm going to have that video recorded for y'all and have it up definitely sometime this weekend. So please don't put anything in the spoilers. So this episode, baby, I was like, these two are done? Kenneth and Britney? Kenneth and Britney. What in the world happened? So we start off with everybody doing the home visits. We start off with Jimmy and Chelsea. They go to Chelsea's place first, and they do meet Chelsea's roommate. And there's not a whole lot to say here, but Jimmy is definitely like, I cannot live here. This girl's roommate is a little too much. I mean, her roommate was very energetic. She was like, we have another roommate. Oh my God. But yeah, Jimmy has a studio apartment, and they're talking about the potential of actually moving to Jimmy's studio. And they were talking about how if he has a meeting, Chelsea can just get out and go to a coffee shop. And I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. The apartment looked very neat, very clean. I'm not dragging him for having a studio, but I do think it's a little OD to be living in a studio when you work from home and you have to like be on the phone, be on meetings constantly, to the point where if Chelsea is there, she's gonna have to like find a place to go. And she's a flight attendant, so I'm presuming that she probably has kind of a schedule where it's like a few weeks on, a few weeks off type situation. But I thought that was a little crazy that they were going to live in the studio and maybe not try to find something between the two of them. I mean, I don't know. That just seems odd to me, but okay, if they like it, I love it. Next, we have Clay and AD, and I was pleasantly surprised. Clay has a house. I don't know if you mentioned that in the pods, but he has a house, and the house looked very nice. AD, of course, is like every minute she is melting more and more into this man. As soon as she sees that he has a house, she's like, oh my God, you have a house. And like I said, good for Clay. Again, I don't know if you mentioned any of this in the pods, but he has a business, and he's clearly very successful. So good for him. I'm always here for it. I'm always here to see Black excellence. I'm here to see Black people making income in ways that are not necessarily just in the 9-to-5 system. And I love to see that for him. So I was pleasantly surprised that he has a house, and it's very nice. So he has this one pillow on his bed, and baby, I'll put a picture in, but he has this one pillow on his bed, and I was like, is that like his family, his sisters? And they keep zooming in on this pillow every single time. And like, AD, I don't believe directly mentions the pillow, but I'm like, why he got that pillow though? Like, who are these people? Like, I couldn't tell, like, is it his friends? Was it his sisters or something? I really had no idea what was going on there. Next, we have Jeremy and Laura. Of course, Jeremy has a house. He mentioned this before, his 4-bedroom house. For some reason, I thought he said that he sold it. So I was a little confused that he now has the house, or maybe I misunderstood that or misinterpreted that in the pause. But Jeremy has a house. It is extremely, extremely neat. But baby, I was very confused because I was like, how you gonna say you are so neat, but you all got shoes on the bed? You a fraud. And both of them put their shoes on them white sheets. I was like, how y'all say that you are neat? Jeremy, how you gonna say you got two Roombas going at all times, but you guys have shoes on the bed? I was very confused with that. So, okay, more power to them. And then we go to Ken and Brittany. Kenneth's place is where they go first, and Kenneth has no food in his fridge, and it just always makes me laugh because I feel like every time I've been to like a male home, they be really having like one thing of lunch meat, one thing of bread, and like a bottle of juice or something, and that is it. Like when I would go to my fiance's place beforehand, he would literally have like a bag of cookies and like three meal prep bowls, and I'm like, where is your food? Why don't you have food in your house? Um, Kenneth talks a lot about how he can be introverted and how sometimes he just needs that space to decompress, but that man is still continuing to always be on that phone. He is always on that phone, y'all. I cannot get over how he just ignores Brittany like this. It's insane. So Brittany and Kenneth, they do sit down and they have a little bit of a chat. And Brittany is basically like, you seem like you've been really introverted since, or distant, excuse me, since we've gotten back. Like, I just noticed that things are weird. I just noticed that things aren't the way they were. And Kenneth is like, you are taking something that might have happened one night where I just got back late, didn't feel like talking, and now you're claiming that it's every night. So Kenneth is starting to basically flip the situation on Brittany. Um, Literally, he is like, you're using an example of one thing and then making it everything. He keeps on going and he says, like, I don't want to have to be all lovey dovey all the time or doing the most or always be so enthusiastic for you to believe that I like you. I'm ready to get back to normal life where, we go to work, we come home, we're just chilling. And like, I understand this sentiment if Brittany genuinely seemed like a clingy person. Now, for what it's worth, we do have to give a little benefit of the doubt and remember that she said in the pause that she does want to be submissive. So I don't know there. I'm going to just say that I don't know there. But I feel like for me, I we have seen a pattern of Kenneth constantly ignoring her, constantly being on his phone, constantly being distant. So when you are the one that has been exhibiting this problematic behavior and then you're trying to turn around and be like, you're taking something that happened one night, it's like, dude, it's a pattern. I would understand if every single night they're together, they're doing things, they're great. But this is clearly a pattern. And I didn't like that. I'm not one to use terms like gaslighting, but I definitely at the minimal least think he was trying to manipulate her. And as I've said, I don't think we know Kenneth is not into Brittany. He's not into her. He just does not want her. Whether it's because she's white and he realized the repercussions of potentially dating a white girl and all the things he would have to explain in the community to people, whether he just got cold feet, whether he a runner, he a track star. I don't know what it is, but Kenneth does not want Brittany. He doesn't want her. He doesn't want that girl. He doesn't want that girl. So we go on to Chelsea and Jimmy, and they meet. Well, Chelsea meets with her friends. She has a few friends come over, and when they come, they're like, shh, he's working upstairs, like in the shared apartment. So they have a conversation, and they're basically first talking about, like, okay, so you like Jimmy. Was there anyone else in the pod that you had feelings for? And she talks about how she really cared about Trevor. She really liked him. It was neck and neck, which one she was going to pick. But ultimately, for her, she felt more of a connection with Jimmy. So she talks about how Jimmy has been acting extremely distant, that apparently that day he hadn't kissed her at all. He claims his love language is physical touch, but he never shows it. And I'm like, girl, he don't want you. These men do not want these women. These men do not want these women. I'm sorry. I feel very, very bad for these girls. I feel bad for Britney. I feel bad for Chelsea because these men don't want them. He doesn't want you, sis. He doesn't want you. A man that loves you, he never will be able to take his hands off you. Trust me. Trust me. A man that loves you, he gonna want to be up on you all the time. So he don't want her, and it's really sad. But basically, Jimmy does eventually get off work, and they start to talk a little bit more about the pods. And he further explains the Jessica situation to Chelsea's friends, basically talking about that she picked him up after the Jessica situation, and that's what solidified in his head that he wanted to be with her rather than Jess. And I was like, here we go again. Another man talking about the way that a woman did all this emotional labor for him, and that being the deciding factor of why you picked her. Like, you mean to tell me there's nothing you liked about her personality? There's nothing you liked in her. You guys don't share core values. That because she picked you up after you were depressed, that your first pick ain't want you, that's why you chose to marry her? And I don't know, for Chelsea, I'm like, that didn't seem to tell you, hey, maybe Trevor is the pick. I was like, okay. It's like, all right. So they do go on to the Megan Fox thing. And basically, Chelsea's like, he starts it off by talking about how she lied about what she looks like, as usual. And Chelsea's like, hold on. Who do I always get that I look like? Like, she cuts him off. She's like, who do I always get that I look like? And what is the Princess Carrie Underwood? I was like, are you for real? I was like, be for real. Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood is blonde. Somebody said Carrie Underwood. I was like, oh. And then someone else says Megan Fox. And I was like, and Jimmy's like, and I'm sitting here like, come on now. This can't be for real. This can't be for real. This can't be for real. But okay, confirmed by one of the friends. Apparently Chelsea looks like Megan Fox. I can't get over this whole thing. I ain't gonna hold y'all. They get into a conversation about how, like, Chelsea is always calling him brother, bro, my dude. And I noticed that too and picked up on that. And I'm like, I don't know, but it feels very weird to me to call your partner brother. Like, girl, what? Like, Jimmy's like, why are you calling me brother? And this is what I mean, where, like, there's friend vibes. Like, I get friend vibes. I get, like, she's cool. I'd kick it with her. But I don't get a romantic connection between these two whatsoever. And I think it's very weird. But he does confirm that Chelsea is his type. Like, his friend straight up, or her friend straight up asked, is Chelsea your type? And he's like, yeah, she's my type. And I'm like, okay, Jimmy. Okay. So Amy and Johnny, they go, I believe, to Amy's house. I could be wrong on that. Sorry, I didn't write it down. But I believe they go to Amy's house. Either way, doesn't really matter. But they both confirm that they want to eventually buy a house soon. Both of them are kind of like, yeah, we're in apartments right now still because we never really wanted to get a house until we solidified kind of who we're with, what we're doing. But now both of them have kind of decided that they want to get a house within the next year. Amy says that she didn't get a house because she still has like a wanderlust thing about her. She's a traveler. And I get that. You know, me and my fiance, we discuss the prospect of getting a house. But one of the first things I always say is like, look, I'm 26. Like, he's 4 years older than me. So he's 30. But I'm like, I'm 26. You know, I don't necessarily feel like right now there's a place that I want to settle. And I don't want to buy property somewhere. I don't know if the DC area is going to be my forever home or our forever home. So I just don't want to go ahead and buy a house. And then it's like, we move. So I think for us, you know, we're like, maybe look into a condo, maybe look into something else where it's a little easier if we want to leave. But Johnny states that he wants to retire early, and in order to get to that point, he wants to live frugally. And he asks Amy if she would be okay with that. And Amy's like, well, I mean, I could definitely get with it. I could definitely try. If I'm being honest, in this conversation, it did not really seem like they were on the same page with both getting the house and even the way they want to handle finances. It just did not come off to me that they were on the same page. So I'm hoping that doesn't become a point of contention for them. But they talk a lot about how Amy is not on birth control. So basically, they both kind of confirm that they do not want kids for like the next 5 years. I think Amy's like, yeah, in 5 years, I would want a kid, but right now I don't. And Johnny is very, very adamant that he does not want to accidentally have a kid right now. He wants to be in a house. He wants to be in a proper financial situation. And he just basically is like, an accidental pregnancy would like ruin my life right now. That's essentially what this man has said. Amy was a little more like, what? She was like, okay, well, I get it, but at the same time, if I accidentally get pregnant, um, and we're in a house, at least we have a house. And like we could take care of a baby. We just wouldn't be in the most perfect, ideal spot for it. So basically, if like instead of our 5 year plan, maybe I would get pregnant accidentally in a year, right? And I think with this kind of conversation, I think everybody's different. I do not have kids, so I cannot speak on this from a perspective of having a child. I will be honest, I know in my life, I have no intention and desire to have a kid within the next few years at all personally. I do understand Johnny and where he comes from, where he's like, I want to be in a space where I feel ready to introduce that. Because yes, at the end of the day, like, I don't think you need to be rich to have a kid. I don't think you need to have all these different things to have a kid. There are plenty of kids that didn't grow up with a lot that are still happy. But I think at the end of the day, you have to 100% be in it. And I think Amy definitely had more of a viewpoint where it's like, I don't want a kid, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like distraught if I get pregnant. And I don't necessarily think either one of them is right or wrong. I actually see both points of view from a certain level. So Johnny does discuss how he has always been with girls that are on birth control. So for him, this is very different being with a girl who's not on anything. And they don't want to he doesn't want to just use protection because he does not feel like it's enough. So it's really hindering their intimacy at this point where he does not want to do it with her because he doesn't want to accidentally leave her pregnant. He's just not ready for that yet. So again, she's on the same page. Amy is on the same page as Johnny with that whole thing, but she says, she doesn't want to get on birth control because she understands what it does to women's bodies. She doesn't want to make her system irregular. She loves how regular her period is and everything. And again, I get that. As somebody who was on birth control for quite a while, it definitely has messed up. Like, it can mess up your system. And more so, a lot of women are highly sensitive to birth control, even the mini pill. And I completely understand that. I do think that it's not talked about enough how much women have to go through putting these hormones in our bodies. And yes, a lot of women do not react well to it. I am one of them. So I completely understood where Amy was coming from. They do touch on the potential of Johnny actually getting a vasectomy. Amy's like, well, why does it have to be me? He could also get a vasectomy. And I just was like, I don't know what the solution is for this. I'll be honest. I think this is one of those solutions where I don't necessarily think anybody is completely wrong or completely right, but I do think that there has to be some level of a compromise. It's clear to me that Johnny is like extremely, extremely no way. And I don't know. I just don't know how they will go about this whole thing. But I do think it's good now that they're getting this kind of conversation out rather than it being kind of tossed to the side in favor of other things. So Britney and Kenneth we come back to them and they are fighting. These two are not doing well. So Brittany is basically like, what, like, they're in the middle of a fight and they're talking about how Kenneth apparently is coming home very late. So Kenneth is in the process of explaining that he had to get his hair twisted, then he had to stop and pick up something from the school, then he needed to go work out, whatever. He gives this long list of reasons why he has not been coming home early. And again, Brittany is like, but why didn't you tell me anything? Why didn't you say something? And Kenneth's default is always, this only happened once. Like, why are you making it seem like it happens every night? And I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of men be doing this. Like, I think Kenneth is extremely manipulative. I'm sorry. I know that people think Kenneth is a gentleman. He's very nice and he seems like he has a nice thing about him. But I think unfortunately Kenneth is being manipulative and trying to play games and trying to like pull an okey doke on her because he doesn't want her. At the end of the day, he doesn't want her. So he wants to try to frame it that she's the victim. Basically, he's trying to self-sabotage this relationship because he doesn't want to be with her. So Brittany talks about how she is not feeling the intimacy in this relationship, how she likes him as a person. She's attracted to him, but there's just something missing where there's not that desire and that craving to be with him. And again, I think she's valid. Kenneth has been extremely distant. He has been so distant. And this is where Kenneth, he really bothered me this episode. He was like, that's you though. She's like, I want to figure out why we're not feeling that craving and we're not feeling that desire for one another that we should have. And he's like, oh, well, that's news to my ears that you feel like that because that's not me. Again, playing games like he's not feeling her. I think anyone with two eyes can see that this man is not feeling her. He's not feeling the relationship. But he's trying to play games like, oh, because you brought this up, I guess that's how you feel. That's not how I feel, but that's how you feel. And this really bothered me. I don't know. As somebody who's been gaslit very heavily in a relationship, I just feel like it is so sickening the way these people will do this to others. So basically they decide and talk about that there is a mismatch of when they want to be intimate. Kenneth talks about how there will be times where apparently he tries to cuddle with her and she will push him off and, say she's busy with business or whatever it may be. And I just don't know. I feel like he's now picking at semantics, because he knows he's wrong. He knows he's wrong. He knows he's caught up, but he's trying to frame it that it's her. When we saw on this show how distant he has been towards her, when we've seen on this show the way that he has treated her, and now he's like, oh, you push me off sometimes when I want to cuddle. Okay. So he's basically like, if you're the one questioning the relationship, then that's good to know. And I don't want to force you. I don't want to force you to be here if you're not feeling that intimacy and you're not feeling the craving. So basically, since you just admitted that, I guess we can just leave that there because at the end of the day, I don't want to force you to be in anything. Kenneth is a major gaslighter. I'm so sorry. He is a major gaslighter. Because this man knows damn well that he has been so distant, giving this girl nothing. And now all of a sudden, it's that she doesn't want you. You took her trying to approach you, trying to give this an honest shot. And now you're like, oh, well, I guess since you admitted that you don't feel a craving for me, I'm going to just head out then. Like, are we Joe? Like, are you serious? So they talk about, Brittany is like, we barely kiss, like, we've never made out. We just are not, intimate. So Kenneth goes on this whole spiel. He pulled the high school principal on her and he's like, look, if you're not feeling me or this relationship, that's enough. And we can't fix that. Again, taking her, giving an honest, like, hey, look, I like you, but I'm not craving you because you've given me nothing, basically. And he's like, well, if you are not feeling me, then we can't fix that. Like, I don't know. Does anybody, I haven't watched any reviews. I haven't talked to anyone about it because I try not to watch other people's stuff or talk with people until I film mine. But I'm like, is anybody else horrified? Like, I was actually horrified because I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? So he says, I want you to find the person you're meant to be with, even if it's not me. And he gets up and he leaves. Now, ladies, this is what men do when they don't want you. He took her words, spun it against her, gaslit the situation to make it sound like he was all in this whole time, and she just came out of nowhere saying she's not craving or feeling him, and then used it as his exit. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how a man gets out of something he doesn't want to be with, but he gets out of a situation he doesn't want to be in, but he don't want to be the bad guy. Because Kenneth did not want to be the bad guy. This really bothered me. So he gets up on out. He calls his friend. And he's like, hey, yo, bro, let me get up on out of here. I'm going to bring my stuff. I'm going to get up on out of here. Sick. Absolutely sick. So we catch Chelsea and Jimmy after their party with Chelsea's friends, and she's whining. They're in the middle of a fight. Chelsea's like, why didn't you kiss me at all today? And Jimmy's like, she's saying how she wants to be taken care of. She wants more affection. She needs more emotionally from Jimmy. And again, Jimmy's another menace. Jimmy is another menace. He doesn't give her really anything. He's also very distant. It's clear he doesn't like her. And he gaslights these situations to make it seem like, oh, it's you that's just too needy. So Jimmy deflects, and then he starts listing out times when he supposedly kissed her. He's like, oh, well, before I went upstairs, we kissed. And oh, this morning when you were cleaning the dishes, I gave you a little kiss. And I'm like, here we go again. You're getting into the semantics. So he says to Chelsea, you're too needy. He's like, you're too needy, and I can't do it anymore because you're too needy. These men don't want these women. These men on Love is Blind right now, season 6, they do not want these women. Period. They're not even trying. They are not even giving it an honest go. So they had a conversation about Jessica, and apparently Jeremy and he were working out, and Jeremy is like, hey, you seen Jess? You seen a picture of her? And he shows her a picture, or he shows him a picture of Jessica. And Chelsea is obviously very upset, very distraught by the whole thing. Now, he apparently brought this up to Chelsea. And this man is continuously bringing up Jessica to her, right? It's like, I don't know how you can expect anyone to be secure when you keep bringing up your ex or the ex-girl you were talking to in the pods. And it's like, you kind of understand Chelsea. Is Chelsea very insecure? Yes. yes. I am not doubting and denying that Chelsea's insecure. But at the end of the day, you keep bringing up another woman and being shocked when this girl is literally crying because you didn't say I love you to her. Now, he claims he only brought it up because Jeremy saw his Instagram and he just wanted to let her know that this happened. Why? Why are you letting her? I can't even get the words out, y'all. Why are you letting her know this? So, Jeremy basically is like, look, I can't say I love you every second because I work from home, okay? Like, you're way too clingy. Like, he literally says, you've been clingy in my opinion. And Chelsea's like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? I'm clingy? What about this morning when I watched your fucking show with you and then we did it? No, I don't want YouTube to block my video. We did it. And he's like, well, maybe I need a breather from that too. And I was like, not him saying he needs a breather from The cootie cat. This man really said he needed a breather from the cootie cat. He was like, I think I need a breather from that too. He said he doesn't want any more of that cootie cat. I was like, oh, I was like, whoa. I was on the floor when I watched this. I was like, Jimmy is a menace and he's done. Jimmy's like, I seen Jess and I'm done. He saw that picture of Jessica and he was like, oh, I'm on demon time now. Jimmy said he on demon time because he saw that picture of Jess and he was like, I need a breather from you and your cootie cat. Chelsea's sobbing. Chelsea is sobbing at this point, and I think Jimmy is dead wrong. Let me be honest. I think Jimmy, is dead wrong. However, I do feel like Chelsea is very needy. Chelsea's very insecure. And I think Chelsea is also seeing the product of her own choices. Because at the end of the day, Chelsea chose the first guy that proposed to her. Let's not mince words. Chelsea chose the first guy because she was desperate. Pick me. I'm sorry. It's giving big pick me energy. But Jimmy's dead wrong. Jimmy is dead wrong for this. He is dead wrong. And he don't like her. He don't like her. He do not like her. He do not like this girl. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe when he said he needed a breather from a cootie cat. Oh my God. Okay. Last but not least, Jessica and Laura meet up. So Jessica basically talks about how Jimmy had friend requested her, but then he withdrew the request like a few days later or whatever, or no, 8 hours later and put his profile on private. Jessica's worried because she's like, I haven't seen Jimmy, but even if he is but ugly, if I hear that voice, I might fall back in. And I guess that's why all the girls wanted Jimmy, because that voice. I mean, his voice is nice. He don't look like his voice. But yeah, she's talking about how if she hears him, she may fall back in. Now, Jess, Trevor, I'm so sorry. So he asked Laura, wow, the words, guys. I'm so sorry. It is also like 12:15 a.m. But basically, Jessica asks Laura if Jimmy and Chelsea are in love. And Laura is like, I think so. She's like, I don't know, but I think so. Basically. So apparently they also find out, or Laura reveals that Sarah Ann DM'd Jeremy, and Jeremy just basically, she took a picture of his phone, and then Jeremy just liked the message. He didn't say anything at that time, but he just liked the message. So basically in the message, Sarah Ann is like, look, I know we didn't get a chance to, we didn't work out there, but if if things ever change with the person you're with, I'd love to meet. Sarah Ann is on demon time. These people are on demon time, y'all. I can't even get the words out because these people are insane. So Sarah Ann's like, if it ever don't work out with Laura, I'd love to meet you. She put it on out there. And she says that she looked through Jimmy's exes, Jessica. Jessica looked through Jimmy's exes and said that all of Jimmy's exes look like her. Shots fired. Y'all, this video is 30 minutes long. I started fumbling over my words. No, please nobody make fun of me. But this is crazy. We're going to leave it here, okay? Now, please don't put any spoilers. We will be back with episode 9 tomorrow or sometime this weekend. Don't hold me to it. But if you watched up until here, please do me a favor, like, share, comment, subscribe, do everything you can. Still trying to get my little channel up, so I would love it if you guys could do that for me. And I will talk to you guys for the next episode. Bye. Thank you.